All right, a disclaimer. Not a professional YouTuber. Just thought I'd share a video of my new drum set. So other drummers out there looking to buy this type of drum set, they have an idea of what comes with it. It's a Tama Superstar Hyperdrive Duo. So it's got the shallow toms, shallow depth toms, virgin kick drum. There's the floor tom, and then over here I put it on this side. It's the Duo floor tom snare drum combo. So the reason why I got this drum set was the colors. Black and gold. I'm from Iowa, so that's Iowa University colors. See the stripe there. Also, I like the hardware on this drum set. It's very good hardware. Take a look at the lugs here. It's the kind of like the Rockstar from the late 90s style lugs. Similar to Recording Custom lugs too, except the Yamaha Recording Customs don't have this air gap. Something I don't like about these drums, and I know this is like the trend right now in drums, is how thin the shells are. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe it wouldn't be such an issue with me if these came with reinforcement rings, but they don't. So when it comes to gigging, I got to worry about these things going out of round eventually. I know most modern drums don't really have that issue anymore, but you never know. Probably something that some drummers may not like is it's made in China. It's not made in Japan or the US. Putting it together, all the bearing edges were fine. So quality control, wherever this factory is in China that they're made, is doing their job. I mean, everything works, everything tunes up nicely. I do not like the stock drum heads though. These Tama Powercraft stock heads. They're like a cheaper version of Remo Ambassadors. They do, however, for the kick drum, although they're pretty cheap looking, the kick drum batter head, it actually sounds really good. It's got a nice punchy sound to it. Let's see here. And yes, that's packaging foam that I'm using as a pillow. I'll eventually swap that out. I do like the front resonant head for the kick drum. It's not a Remo fiber skin, although it kind of looks like it. It's a Tama branded resonant head, excuse me. I do prefer the hole in the resonant head, so I might cut one into it. Just take a soup can and heat it up and have it melt a hole through. That way I can get my kick drum mic in there. I do prefer these style kick drum lugs and claws. The T-style tension rods, show you here. People always inadvertently hit those things and get your resonant head out of tune. It's annoying, so I do prefer the regular tension rods where you have to use a drum key, because then you don't have to worry about that. What surprised me and what I don't like about these claws is when you go to buy these online, it looks like they're rubber lined, but they're actually plastic. I mean, it's still going to protect the hoop, but it's kind of cheap. I'd prefer a rubber liner instead of a plastic liner on the claws. Down over here on the spurs, they're all right. I prefer something with marking so you can kind of keep it even on both sides. You kind of have to eyeball it and guess it, make sure it's even with these smooth spur legs. So the hardware is pretty good. It's very durable. Down here, if you want to have the spikes come out, you just twist this. It's actually kind of easier than using a kind that requires you to use a drum key. The toms, so this comes with the kit, the actual shell pack, this fast clamp with the Omni ball here. It's real easy to use. I was surprised how easy it is to use. Of course, problem with it, I don't really care too much about it, but some people might. On the left side, it ends up having the Tama fast clamp part where it says it upside down. So another thing about these toms is they have something that Tama uses on their higher end kits. These hoops. So these hoops have holes through them that allow their StarCast mounting system or Star Classic mounting system to go through. And there's 3 parts. Here, I'll come over here, show it on the other one. 1, 2, and 3. So that means nothing's going through the shell and it doesn't choke the tom out. They remain pretty resonant. The difference between these and Tama's higher end Tama Star Classic or their, Tama Star drums is right here. It does not have the quick lock mounting system. The quick lock, it's like a lever that you just turn and then you take it off. These you have to loosen up and then take off. It's not a big deal, but it is a nicer feature on the higher end models of Tama drums. So on the Duo floor tom, it actually does have an Evans head on it, and it sounds way better than the stock Tama heads that are on the rest of the kit. Just the stock heads don't sound all that great. I mean, they're punchy, but again, they sound like a cheap Remo Ambassador head. Once I wear these out, I'll change them and get different heads. I did order the Tama steel hammered snare SLP. Not a fan of the strainer on it. I prefer Tama's other kind of strainer. I have another SLP snare. I prefer the lever action. The adjustment knob's good. It's rubber. I like that. But I prefer a lever action. And then over here on the butt plate, some of you may know that Tama on a lot of their snare drums, the butt plate has also has an adjustment knob, but on this SLP snare drum it does not. I'm probably gonna swap those out for Tama's lever action and their adjustable butt plate. It's got the tube lugs. This particular snare drum, it really prefers to be tuned high. It doesn't sound too good on a low tuning. If you care about the cymbals, they're Peisty 900. I like the Sound Edge hi-hats. All the additional hardware that I got is all Tama. Got the Iron Cobra hi-hat, Road Pro cymbal stands with the counterweights because I've got the heavier Peisty 900 cymbals. I'm still waiting on my 18-inch heavy crash to come in, and I'm still waiting on a new kick pedal. This is the Pearl Shift Eliminator. I've had this for 10 years now. I'm switching to the Speed Cobra double kick pedal, and I'm waiting for that to come in. Another reason why I got this drum kit was because of the shallow toms. I can mount the toms pretty low, which if you've played for a while, you understand that you don't want your toms angled toward you because then you wear out the heads quicker. You want the flat part of the taper of the drumstick, the tip, to hit flat on the drum head. It's something that I don't know why it became popular. I think it was from the 80s when they had those really, really deep toms. They had no choice but to have the toms mounted this way because they wouldn't, otherwise the toms would be mounted really high. So they angled them toward the drummer more. But it's just not a proper way to play toms. I mean, you'll wear out the heads. You don't get a full strike on the toms. It just doesn't sound as good. All right, I'm gonna post this to YouTube for the first time, and hopefully you guys get an idea of what you like about these drums.